Welcome to Win. Hey, here's one of the funniest questions I've ever been asked. Do you and your race team race full-time for a living? Some people really think we show up at the racetrack on Friday, race on Sunday, and you got the rest of the week off. I tell you, I'd hate to think how many hours our race team works during the week. Nobody punches a time clock at my shop. Why don't we just show you what a race week is really like? We'll start at the end of the Trans-South 400 in Darlington, and 7 days later take the green flag in Bristol, Tennessee. But hey, I'm sorry to tell you, man, this thing starts with a bang.
And Rusty Wallace had moved up to 11th position through this race, but I don't know, it doesn't look good for him.
The Red Sox are trying for their second straight victory. Hello, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper with Mike Krukow for EA Sports as we get set for today's ball game. Should be a great game today between the Boston Red Sox and the Kansas City Royals.
He was running 678, and you click off to 675 or 673. Was it that tore up? Yes. Yes.
Here's the game's first batter, Johnny Damon.
My rear tire's up on the pavement over here.
Can we back it up? Back it up?
Yeah, but I got everything underneath the trailer right now. You can start clearing everything out from underneath the trailer. All right, let's go on up.
First pitch of the game is a strike.
His #1 pitch is his fastball.
I got the control. All right, boys, let's give her a push here. W on 2. 1, 2. Paul, you watch the roof.
Popped him up. He made the play.
That's one heck of a
Come on,
catch.
Logan.
What a tough play.
Up next, Mike Lowe.
Swine, a good way to wind down. I love these.
Jimenez delivers a strike with the
Especially at night,
fastball.
it's so we're calm, it's quiet, the sun's getting ready to set, and we've had a crappy day today.
Not a cloud in the sky.
And,
According to the forecast, there won't
You
be
got to look
any
forward to
creeping in
something.
either.
And I've won a lot of races, a lot of good things have happened, and somebody asked me to watch it.
They
How
made
the
the
heck
play.
can you have a bad day and be in such a good mood?
Stepping
I said,
in,
well, you know, I've done this for so long. Got a lot of good fans to follow you. And get on the flank. Somebody gives you a good cold
Sometimes you try
milk.
to make the hitter chase your
I like
pitch.
that.
That's exactly what you
And
saw
it's just a
right
lot of fun. You know, stuff happens and you got to deal with it, and that's it.
Fastball for a strike. 2 outs. And they call that a strike. It's 1-2.
Where's Roland? Is he here?
The home plate ump asked for help at
You gonna
first.
play? There he is.
Here's the
Pilot.
pitch.
You get to be on a new television
Fouls
show.
this
wouldn't
one
you?
back.
Oh, yeah? Say hello to all your fans.
How you doing?
It's Roland Kilmer, pilot. He's pretty good.
Waiting on the 2-2 pitch.
Hey, Scott. Look at it.
Jimenez
Look at them
ties the
fans
side in
back
order.
These guys, I tell you. They just work their pants right off themselves. I'll tell
And
you
here's
what.
the batting
My
orders for the
guys
home
work hard,
team.
man, I tell you.
Today
I
started
am
for the
real
visiting
proud,
team, Matt
Grab
Clement.
the truck and got
And
everybody
here's a look at how
on
the
my
defense
team
is lining up.
has worked as hard as they can, and they've put in long hours at the shop. I have to put in at least as much effort as they do.
Delgado comes to the plate. Here's a guy who's one of the
And
best
every day
hitters
of
around.
the week. So it's my responsibility to get their week's worth of work to the races.
He's got 2 wins
You
and
sit on your rear and you don't do nothing. You don't do nothing. You say, hey, we won 8 races last year. We won 10 here. We
kind of
won
guy
8
managers
good, you
just
know?
love. He's
Get
pitching
your ass in, kick it, and tell you next year. It just happens every year. You got
He
to
made a
keep
real
it up.
good pitch for strike 3, Mike.
Same with the voters.
The next batter is Cesar Izturis. This guy is okay against right-handed pitching.
Kinda, we're almost in a little research and development stage.
Got him.
Changing the bodies around different we ever done. We're going to think this guy do better.
Snyder caught the inside corner. Fastball right down the middle.
He's logged 35
Win
innings this season.
is presented to you by Allied Signals Fram filter products. Fram, you can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Autolite spark plugs and wire and cable products. Autolite spark plugs, guaranteed for 2 years, no matter how far you go.
After one, no score here.
We come home from Darlington Sunday night, okay?
Jimenez misses with
Monday,
a fastball.
we
He
unload
was
the
trying to
wreck,
tip the
we
batter to go
strip
out
the
with a
wreck
fastball
car,
outside the strike zone.
and we get it up here on
Fastball
we get up
missed
here in the
low.
picture and
This
check
dude's
all
been
of our
skating on
points.
thin
And
ice all day
as you
with the
can
amount
see,
of
we
ugly balls
had
he's
a well
been
of
throwing.
snout
They're
on
finally
it.
going to make him pay.
And during that
delivers a
time, we've
strike.
got our Bristol car ready to go race. We've got our spare car.
That's a liner back
The
through the
Richmond
middle.
car, it'll be the spare for Bristol. We've got it raced ready.
He's rounding first.
We've prepared a car to go to the wind tunnel. We've gone and have conducted a wind tunnel test
Safe at third.
at
Great start to
Lockheed
the
on
inning with a
Wednesday.
triple.
Well, you've got to
The cars
cash
are
into these
virtually ready
leadoff
to go,
extra base
man.
hits. It's just a great scoring opportunity.
Okay, what these guys are doing here is they're putting the final prep on the car for this week at Bristol. You know, Billy Wilburn and Todd Parrott, Jeffrey Townsend, and
Strike one.
Scott Robin.
He's tallied 1 win and 3 losses so far.
Throws it over for a strike.
During the week, I
He's
try
got
to
one
keep
strong
Chuck
pitch, which he'll throw in
as
any count.
clean as it can get, and get
Get
the
to the
spare
right side.
windshields and maybe polish the wheels, go through the whole
There's
toolbox, you know, sort the drills and recharge all the batteries and clean the cords and things like that.
Everybody says, well, what do you guys do with your time off? We don't have any time off. There is no time off. It never changes. We always say, well, if we can plan it a little bit better, you know, we'll get a day off here and we'll get a day off there, and
This
guys can spend a
left-handed
little
hitter
bit more
is pretty
time at home. It's
confident
just
when he
unfortunate
faces a
it really
southpaw
never
pitcher.
happens.
My name's Todd Parrott. I'm the
He painted the
captain
black
coach
on the
on
inside
Union
end.
Gas Ford Thunderbirds. And this week, after Darlington hasn't been too
0-2
bad
count.
because the
This dude's
car
a
that we're
pretty
taking
good
this weekend to
strikeout
Bristol
pitcher,
has
and
been sitting here in the
usually
shop
tallies
pretty
every
much
time he throws.
since last week, ready to go, so to speak. The only thing I had to do is come
And on
home,
3 pitches, he's gone.
change the
And the pitcher
steering
wins the
box,
battle.
and
Sweet pitch
you know,
to
put
get
the
the
4
pitch.
springs and the 4 shocks in the car that we're going to run at Bristol. And then, you know, I set the car up yesterday.
My name is Dave Maneri. I'm the body shop manager. My job consists of painting, between me and Rocky, painting cars, decaling them,
Fastball outside.
taking care
This
of
southpaw is one of the
glass,
top left-handed strikeout pitchers in the league.
inner panel, just anything on the outside of the race cars.
I'm David Little, and I'm the fab shop manager. I basically make sure all the stuff gets done on
Like
the
a
cars,
good pitch,
and
but called the ball.
myself and the other fellows in here have the input on what we're going to do to the cars and get them ready every week.
And a strike.
Well, we start with a car just opposite as you would a
3-2.
house. With the house, you start from the foundation up, which we do basically with the frame. But when you put the body on, you start from the top and go down.
He takes the walk.
You go to the
Hey, that
top,
was a great at-bat
the
partner. He
deck
wouldn't
lid and the
budge,
hood,
swung
and then you
pitcher
put
for
your
a walk.
sides on.
Next up,
Right
Manny
now we're
Ramirez.
breaking in an engine, which
This righty
will run
doesn't
about an
exactly
hour,
rip up
and
left-handed pitching.
change valve springs on it, and do some loading and tell them horsepower and stuff to make. Mainly all we look at is numbers.
Fastball misses low
You know,
for a
oil
ball.
pressure, oil
Sometimes
temperature,
you try to
water
make the hitter chase your
temperature,
impulse. That's exactly what you
vacuum
saw
fuel
right there.
flow, a correction factor,
He got a strike
air fuel
upstairs.
ratio.
He's the kind of
And
guy
this is
managers just
RPM,
love.
the engine's
Pitching
running at,
leaders
corrected
usually
torque, corrected horsepower,
Jimenez misses, and the
and
count
brake
evens at
specifics.
2. Into right field.
Well, we're going to start our
That'll do it for
weekend
the
off
Red
that. We got the
Sox
truck
in the
loaded and
second
we're ready to go
inning.
shopping here.
Heading into the bottom of the second. The score is 1-0.
My mom will get off this. I know what every item is in the store. It's pretty much routine. Have to get some sugar
There's
for the
strike
coffee.
one.
Call me Super Shopper. Don't need no diapers.
He sends it over towards first.
This is my favorite aisle, the cookie aisle.
That was not an easy catch.
I already have enough bad food. Those really don't go over real well. Oreos
Well,
is a
there's
big
just a few
hot
righty
item.
hitters who are
And
superior
a chocolate
against
chip cookie.
right-handed pitchers than this guy. He painted the black with that one.
Doritos. And health and beauty aids, that won't help our team.
Clement throws a fastball strike.
I would like to have 3 pounds of roast beef, 2 pounds of beef bologna,
That's a
3 pounds of ham.
3 pitches, 3 strikes, doesn't get easier than that part.
Fly ball hit the other way to left. That'll do it for the inning. Side retired. After 2, the Royals trail by 1. This game is brought to you by EA Sports. EA Sports is in the game.
Put a Janet Jackson case in, and I'm ready to go.
He catches the plate
Win
for a strike.
is brought to you by Cold Filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool
And
place.
towards the shortstop.
Brought to you by Jiffy Lube. If it doesn't say Jiffy Lube,
Next
it
at the
just
plate,
isn't Jiffy
Johnny
Lube.
Damon. This fella here is not what you would call a batting coach's dream. Jimenez throws a change for a called strike.
This left-hander struggles to find the strike zone at times, giving up walks in the process. Guy does not have a real live fastball.
The delivery. Pitch misses for a ball.
Sometimes you try to make the hitter chase your pitch. That's exactly what you saw right there.
3-1 count.
That was a purpose pitch. He was trying to get the batter to chase.
You gotta get this stuff just
He
right.
takes his base.
Got the pitcher had
No,
chances to
actually,
end that
this
at
morning's
bat.
been
Batter
pretty
just
routine
flat out
for here
out
at
of
Bristol. We just come here, unload off the truck,
Next,
and
Mike Lowe.
it takes Rusty a few laps to get, used to the track and everything, because it's a totally different place than anywhere you've been all year
Jimenez
long.
misses, and the
About
count
always
is
the
1-0.
car is perfect. That came
The
from
defense would be
I got
wise
all
right
kinds
here
of
to move into
measurements
double
all
play
over the
depth.
race car. Just the way that
There's
I
a
can
strike
always,
with the changeup.
if I think something's not right, instead of having to pull strings and do all that type of stuff,
And the
getting all
count
the
is
quick gauges
2-1.
out to check
He was
the
hoping the
rear
batter
housing
would go
center
fishing
line,
and
I
pitch
just
out
go
of
off
the zone.
the rotor.
3-1.
He averages about 4 walks per 9
Hi, I'm
innings.
Sean
Not
Parker,
terrible,
tire
but not great.
specialist on the Miller Genuine Draft with Rusty Drive. And
The
my
count
main
runs
job is
full.
to deal with the tires when they come to the racetrack. They come with regular compressed
A
air.
liner.
We change them put compressed nitrogen air.
So far, everything's looking really good. It's been a normal Bristol. We've unloaded.
on first
Got here
with
this
a
morning.
base hit.
Practice started at 11 o'clock sharp. There hasn't been really any mishaps. This is midnight, my favorite car. And so I've won this race several times with the same car, and I've won it with different cars also. But we unload with a basic setup, the setup that we've set on the
Stepping
pole
in,
with or we've been
Miguel
quick with.
Cabrera.
And we've done
This
that
guy's
same thing
swing is
today.
a thing
And the
of
car
beauty.
ran really quick, and we've adjusted just a little bit, little tire
The bit
pressure
high,
stuff to
1-0.
adapt to the different
Infield's gotta think about
100-pound
playing
weight
double
deal like
play
we've been
depth right now.
messing with. But it's running good. All systems go right now. Now the big deal's
And a
going to be
strike.
qualifying. Got to get that's the next thing.
That is
When we get out there
pinpoint
and
control right
see how
there.
she
The
qualifies.
catcher
But
set
I
a
feel
target
good
in the
about it.
corner. The pitcher just hammered it for a strike.
Frantic. We've got an hour and 20 minutes of practice time. And so there's no time
And
to
it's
sit around
low.
and talk
Well, the
about it
pitcher
and
got
have
lucky
a
right
committee
there. He
discussion.
really threw a
You got to
bad pitch,
react
but it
right away.
ended
Just
up
go after
unhittable.
it.
And now it's a full count.
There is
Sometimes you
not
try to
one
make
word
the
to
hitter
describe
chase your
Rusty
pitch. That's
Wallace.
exactly what you saw right there.
He's,
Struck him out swinging.
I'm not saying he's emotional, but he's high strung.
Really backed up against the wall, and then
Yeah,
he digs
intense,
deep, makes
intense.
great
He's
pitches,
pretty
and gets the strikeout.
Well, a lot of people say intense. I would say probably more focused. He thinks racing 24 hours a day. The only time he really
And a strike.
gets
and a
his
change.
mind off racing is when he's behind the seat in his plane. He loves to fly. But the rest of the time, he's talking racing. No matter if we go out to eat, he's throwing on napkins real sharp, and we reinvent the wheel sometimes.
On the ground. The side is retired with 1 runner stranded. After 2.5, the Red Sox lead by only 1
We
run.
change the right down the string, left one
Base is turning
and left one side. Go back and make a big hit up with the back there in the second race. And we won the race here in August
There's
last
a
year.
strike.
Terrific pitch
Scott
there.
Robinson,
Put the fastball
and
right where he wanted
I
it for a
build
called strike.
and maintain Rusty's transmissions at the shop.
Slider
And
breaks
when
in
the
there for a
motor
strike.
change goes on, I'm the guy that goes under the car.
Here's the 0-2
and,
pitch.
we have a guy that
3
does like left
pitches,
side,
3
right
strikes.
side. I go under the car.
3 pitches, 3 strikes. Doesn't get
Hook up
easier than that
everything
part.
under there. And then on Sunday, I'm a jack man.
Right after the Bush race, there'll be another practice. We'll have another hour of practice.
Great pitch, he hit the corner.
Call happy hour. We'll run that for an hour. Just an hour practice. That'll be our last practice, and then we'll come in Sunday morning and get the car prepped for the race.
Terrific
Spend
pitch
all
there.
morning doing that.
Fastball right where he wanted for a called strike.
Okay, Earl, just be running slow. Just scuffing a little bit right now. 4. Sean, look at those guys. Sean, look at them cars. Make sure they look like they have enough scuff in them. Okay, Mark running a 35 and 35 and a 45.
He gets it over for a strike.
Okay, I tell you what, that's pretty well done.
They appeal to the third base zone.
I don't want to take a chance to take
Clement with a 1-2-3 inning. After 3 innings, the score is 1-0.
All right. We're rolling, guys. Look, if I get behind them all, we can throw a lot of marbles out in front of competition for me, okay? All right. Throw them hard now.
Promotional consideration for wins is provided by Sony.
Sony's ESP electronic shock protection protects your music from almost any jumps, skips, or sudden stops in the Sony Car Discman CD player.
And Stock Car Racing Magazine. Subscribe to the world's most popular racing publication at the one-year discount price of $14.97. Call toll-free 1-800-333-2633. And by Allied Signals Bendix Brakes, the best-known name in brakes.
Hey, Kai, he was able to get ahead of the count. The batter never caught up. Good striking.
Autolite presents Force in Your Face.
I think one of the toughest things you can do in life is trying to fill the shoes of a superstar. Let me give you an example. We're going to talk about a couple of them here. One, Don the Snake for Don. Plenty tough shoes to fill there. There's a young kid out there, Larry Dixon, who's climbing in that cockpit every week of that 300-mile-an-hour car, and he's doing a heck of a job. Then on down the road south in NASCAR country, there's another group of
There's a line drive.
Okay, Kyle Petty for one. Here's a guy, unbelievable money.
He's on
drives
first
Mercedes,
with a base
has a
hit.
ponytail. He's created a whole new image in
steps
NASCAR,
into the
right?
box.
Every time he goes around that racetrack, you know what they say? There goes Richard the King's son. Kyle, that's just the way it's going to be. You know what, Rusty? You got the same problem. You got two brothers, Kenny and Michael, trying to fill your shoes. They're doing a dang good job.
Yeah, Force, you know what? I do have a problem. Those brothers of mine, we're getting sick of being called Rusty's brothers. Now let's get back to the story.
They'll come in, kind of go over the car, look around and everything, ask everybody how things are going, and look inside, and he'll say, I'm ready to go. Let's
to
go.
put runners on first and second.
Hey, that wasn't a bad display by the pitcher.
No, it's not a matter of all trusting my guys. I trust all my guys. I do. I mean, I can run 200-300 miles an hour in that car, and I trust them as far as when it comes to mechanical safety, when it comes to in preparing the car. But when it comes to making the right selection on a spring or a shock, that's something that's got to be, the driver has to give the feedback to the team. For some drivers, get out of the car and go, that's pushing or loose, fix it, I'll be back, I got to get a hot dog, you know. That's not me. I got to get right up in the tailpipe with them.
What we have here is an NASCAR inspector checking the air pressure in the tires before the car goes across the scale so they can properly check the camber.
3-1, a hitter's pitch.
Well, go across the scale, check the weight, make sure you're good there. They check the camber in there and housing. Make sure you don't have too much. Legal limit 1.9 degrees on the left and the right.
He delivers.
Hour before the race, get it on the line, just pitch that off, relax a little bit, get your breath. You wind up holding it for the next 500 laps.
This is what it all comes down to. All dialed in, ready to go. Now it's time to bring out the can of whip ass.
Taken for a ball.
Sometimes you try to make the hitter chase your pitch. It's exactly what you saw right there.
3 balls, 1 strike.
One fan will be in the stands today, making this the largest crowd.
A walk forces home a run.
Hey, Pete, make him earn it. Killing me.
Stepping up to the plate with a single already, Mike Lowe. This guy goes to town with left-handed pitcher. There's a strike swinging. A 3-pitch strikeout. After 3.5, the Royals trail by 2.
Well, that's a week from checkers to green. Just 1/31st of a season. Multiply that times 60 teams, every one of who dedicates the same effort, the same commitment. And you get a sense of why some of us feel this sport and the people involved is so very special. You know, whether it's Rick Hendrick Racing, Bill Elliott, Dale Earnhardt, and Richard Silverstein, or Dave Marcus, the Sunday to Friday effort is 100%. Hey, do yourself a favor. Don't ever ask any of those guys if they run full-time for a living. I'm Rusty Wallace for Win.
Win is presented to you by Allied Signals Fram filter products. Fram, you can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Autolite spark plugs and wire and cable products. Autolite spark plugs, guaranteed for 2 years, no matter how far you go.
That's a two-run homer.
Did the running of the Food City 500. Bill Weber has the new 500.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inside Winston Cup Racing. Ned Jarrett is standing by. He'll be joining us shortly. The Winston Cup Series is off this weekend, warming up for the Brickyard 400. But the Busch Series ran Saturday at South Boston, Virginia, where tires, not just talent, determine the outcome. As Chad Little charged to the win and into the point streak. Highlights are coming up. Also ahead, Randy talks to some of the most important people in this sport. You, the fan, about the growing love affair with Winston Cup Racing. Then you'll meet NASCAR's cleanup committee.
That one was off his hands.
Another step in racing toward a cleaner environment. All coming up on this edition of Inside Winston Cup Racing for Sunday, July 30th.
Today's show is brought to you by Texaco Havoline Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Red Dog Beer, bold yet smooth, unusually easy to drink. You are your own dog. And by Goodyear, #1 in racing, #1 in tires.
He opens up on one and hits a line drive.
Today's Busch Series highlights are brought to you by Texaco Havoline Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
The count's 1 and 2.
Now let's get something straight. Chad Little had another solid run on Saturday. A strong car, a great crew, and some impressive driving. His Harris Teeter team was able to transform early trouble into triumph. But the underlying story here is the tire rule.
Hit to the
it
right
is designed
side.
to keep
Gathers
costs
it in
down.
with his glove.
Saturday, the rule limited teams to 4 new tires under caution. It may have saved some cash. But yesterday, the tire rule took the air right out of the competition.
As a manager, you hate to see this guy come up.
The 32-car field took the green flag for 300 laps on the 0.4 of a mile track. Pole sitter Curtis Markham was strong from the start, with Chad Little, Johnny Benson, and Jimmy Spencer giving chase. Little worked his Harris Teeter Ford around Markham and into the lead just past lap 50. But a few laps later, Chad was trying to lap Doug Hevron when the two got together. Benson dodged slow and raced into the lead, while Little and Hevron both spun, bringing out the second caution of the race. Champ pulled his wounded ride to the pits for repairs, and the crew bolted on 2 right-side tires that did not count against the 4 tires allowed under caution. Point leader Johnny Benson, Markham, and David Green paced the parade as the race roared past lap 100. When Tim Fleeta was spun on lap 110, the caution flew for the 3rd time, and the leaders jammed the overcrowded pit road. Benson was just one driver that lost precious positions when he was pinned in. Little did not stop and led on the restart. He swapped the lead with Markham until the motor expired in the Lysol machine. Little held the lead past halfway. Then, with his tires fading, he relinquished the point to Green, and Mike McLaughlin followed into second. With less than 100 laps left, Benson's Chevy began to smoke. He was black flagged and forced to pit. That's when Buckshot Jones turned Jason Keller in traffic, selecting Jimmy Spencer for caution number 4 on lap 207. That opened the door for Little to pit and grabbed 4 fresh tires. Green led on the restart with just over 80 laps left, chased by McLaughlin and Elton Sawyer. But Little was the story. He restarted back in the pack, but with fresh tires, carved a swift path to the front, quickly roping in the leaders. He recaptured the lead and pulled away from the pack, leaving Green, McLaughlin, and Sawyer to fight for second. Larry Pearson lost a lap in the pit, but fought back on the track and took the Stanley to his Chevy into the top 5. Bobby Dotto went around in traffic for caution number 5. That's when Benson returned to the pit, where Clifton T-Crew failed to solve his problems, dropping Johnny deep in the order and out of the points lead. Down the stretch, no one could catch Chad, but there was plenty of exciting racing action among the cars on the lead lap. Sawyer appeared headed for a top 5 finish when he was tapped from behind by Elliott Sadler, dropping the red carpet least forward to a 7th place finish. Sadler spun moments later and finished 8th. Up front, Chad rolls to the checkers for his 2nd straight win, his 6th of the season, and the lead in the Busch Series points race.
We had that caution, and I had 4 new tires, and they had 75 or so laps on theirs, maybe even more than that. And, I mean, tires won it for me today, so thank you to Goodyear. And you know, that's the gamble when you get out of sequence. Sometimes you can really have an advantage, and sometimes it can hurt you. The caution really worked in our favor. And also the caution when we had that flat tire at the start of the race. So, you know, I think our team, of course, and Harris Teeter and Bear, because we've worked really hard for this. This car's probably been wrecked more than any of our other cars, but this is its first win, and goes down in history books.
The Team Monte Carlo's been running great. I mean, we had a great car.
Swung on
you know,
and
Chad got that little extra tires, which made him fast. But, man, he ran a great race, too. I mean, he's been fast. Their crew's doing an excellent job. And, you know, I mean, they deserve to be in the lead, man. They're won a lot of races, and they're running good, too. So we'll fight back. We'll be all right.
They check with the first base umpire. He's heading back to the dugout. Strike 3.
The Busch guys go again Friday night at Indianapolis Raceway Park, the night before the Brickyard 400. Now look for a possible rule change when the Winston Cup teams hit the track at Indy on Wednesday. A new minimum spoiler angle, perhaps 60 or 65 degrees, opposed to last year when there was no minimum, but most teams probably ran 50 to 55 degrees. Earlier this week, the Speedway unveiled a whopping first, so as you might imagine, drivers are anxious to get back on the track.
We haven't heard a whole lot about the second annual Brickyard 400 last year. Every week, you know, it's all people wanted to talk about. This year it hasn't been that way, and it's been kind of quiet. So when I went up there testing, I hadn't really even thought that much about it. But running there, you know, but when you pull out on that racetrack, your whole mindset changes still. You become real aware of where you are and what all's gone on there over the years, and it's a good feeling inside. It makes you real excited about racing there.
You know, we've been to a lot of these racetracks, you know, time and time again, and we go to someplace just like everywhere else. There's a new race that's coming up in the future, you know, from years from now, that it'll be history-making also. But the fame and the history of Indy will never die, you know, so winning that first one was great. But, hey, if you can win the second, the third, the fourth, whichever one it is, it still would please me.
There's no way to describe it. It's just, that would be it. I mean, that would be the ultimate in victories. I mean, you know, the Daytona 500 is our Super Bowl, and that's been around for a while. That's very prestigious too, but I mean, you're talking about the Brickyard. I mean, some of the history behind the place and the people that have won races there, to be able to get your name in the Hall of Fame with them, it just would be tremendous.
He's on his way to the plate.
What's going to make the Brickyard special, I think, in years to come, I think we're going to see this is the fans.
That's a nice at-bat right there. He got that run home and he ended up
we ran the first race, and a few days after that, they sold it out for this coming year. It's going to keep getting bigger, and, you know, he's putting more stands in the infield this time to accommodate more people. And the people, that's what makes it. You know what I mean? That's what's going to make it a real position as years come forth, I believe.
One other thing, what's your personal commitment thing like up there? Have you looked at your schedule? Do you have a lot of things you have to do, or are you chilling?
I tell you what to do. When I get there, they hand me a piece of paper and they tell me which way to go. You're this way here at a certain time, and go over here at a certain time, and over here at a certain time. So I know they got a lot of stuff going on up there, but I really don't know until I get there.
You know, Rick Mast coming your way, though.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Medical update, Ken Schrader is doing fine after his wreck at Talladega last week. He's got a nasty black eye, but raced Wednesday night. And Robbie Reiser's also doing well. He was released from the hospital late last week and is home recovering from surgery on his knee. We're looking forward to our visit to the Brickyard NIRP for the Busch race. Videographer Harry Cogan and I are heading for Indy. Hope to see you up there. We're going to turn things over to Ned Jarrett. He'll take you along for the rest of the way in this one. First, here's a look at the finish order from the Ford Credit 300. And congratulations once again to Chad Little.
Pitchers ahead, 1 and 2.
The scout report tells me that runner will not be around him third when he hit the right field. That guy out there's got one of the best arms in the
Recent
league.
stories in Forbes magazine and Sports Illustrated have pointed out the tremendous growth of NASCAR Instant Cup racing and where it has been growing by leaps and bounds
Nothing
in the
special
last
about that.
several
We
years.
just picked up the ball.
While we were at Talladega, Randy talked to some of you fans
Stepping in
about
1
what
for
drives
3,
you to the
Mike
race.
Lowe.
Give me your overall
Out of the
opinion about
zone,
the
that's a
state
ball.
of the sport.
Sometimes you try to
where
make the
it
hitter
stands.
chase
I
your
mean,
picks. That's
I don't know if
exactly
you
what
saw
you saw
this
right
week
there.
on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Give me your opinions on where this sport stands
Sometimes
right
you
now.
try to
It's
make
on
the hitter
top.
chase your picks. That's
It's on
exactly
top.
what you
I
saw
don't know how
right
I can go
there.
any higher. Just look around you. Takes you off, get to the track, you take you 30 minutes. Takes you 5 hours to get out of here, and you 7-way through. Oh, I love it. There's nothing to top it. Nothing.
They say women make up 38% of this sport, and as far as the crowd goes, why do you feel this thing has become so popular? What does it for you guys?
He draws
Mark
the walk.
Martin.
He's going to have to start throwing more strikes if he wants to stay in this ball game more than a few innings.
Speed does it for me.
The next batter is Miguel
Watching these
Cabrera.
guys out here is tremendous.
There are 2 runners
Do you like the
on with 2
competition as
outs.
well, or do you just like the overall atmosphere of it? Come on.
All of it, everything. It's great.
You don't know what's going to happen until it's almost
And the
over. do you?
count is 0-2.
Except Mark Martin's going to win.
It's basically a family sport, family-oriented. Everybody goes out there, gives 100%. These guys will go out there and they'll go out there with broken legs, broken legs, broken arms,
Some of these
get
pitches
in a
ain't
race.
close.
They do it because they have a true desire
They
to do
appeal
it,
the first
will
of
to
the
be
check
there.
swing.
They don't go out there and cry about it. They go out there and do it.
Well, my husband got me started, and I figured,
3 and 2.
you know, you can't beat them joining. It's something the husband and wife
Change
can
up
do
off the
together, and
plate,
it's a lot
hoping
of
the batter
fun.
would go chase
You
it.
become a big fan?
The runners go.
Yes, I became a big fan as soon as Daytona. When I lived in West Palm Beach, and now I've attended more races, and I am a fan.
He's
Can
on
you
with a
put your
2-out
finger
signal.
on why there's
You
that
cannot
seemingly
execute a hit
addiction
and run any better
when,
than that.
once you see that first race or you hear him crank up? Explain it to the fans.
Speed, the sound of the cars, the fans are all into the same thing at the same time. So close together. So exciting.
See, they have a race in Phoenix, and it's an exciting race, but there's not near as much electricity from the fans as back here. That's one of the reasons the East Coast is fun to come visit a race, because the fans are so
That's
pumped up.
the
They
third
come to
out
see
with
their
the
man win.
bases
So
left
it's
juice.
really exciting.
Feels that way?
Yeah, I've noticed, like he was telling me, back on the West Coast, you just don't have the NASCAR adrenaline. I mean, we've been
Going
driving
into
out
the
here.
bottom
We
of the
were at the
sixth. The
Talladega short
score
track
is
last
3-2.
night. And I mean, those fans, they just stand up and get into it. And out here, I'm kind of expecting
Coming
the
up
same
this
thing.
inning, the
You just
1-2
feel it walking
hitters.
around. California, you just, I don't know. I don't want to dog any of our California fellow race fans out there, but it's a lot more different atmosphere out here. A lot better.
So you'll buy the seats, but you might not sit in them too long.
Basically, you spend a little bit of money
It's hit
to get in
back up the
there
middle.
and for 3 hours, but not too much complaining.
He reaches with a single.
How long did it take you to get here?
He was looking for it, got it.
I think it's 2,500 miles. That's about 36 hours. It's pretty good drive. So pumped up to go straight through.
There's a
Yeah,
push
it's a
bunt.
sport. People love their cars. They love America. They love
His
these
foot's
people
off
out
the
here. It's
bag.
great. You know, it's just a good sport.
It's going to continue to grow as it is, as it has in the past few years.
As long as they can find parking.
Why would you battle the parking? You love it that much that you have to battle the traffic hours ahead of time?
The traffic, the heat, it's all worth it. Yes. We came from Panama City, Florida, and it's worth it.
Yeah, it's great because the speed,
the noise.
Runners at first and second, nobody out. Pitch just off the plate, 1-0.
Well, the most
That
exciting
slider
event
sailed
that I've
way
ever
out of
been
strike
to
zone.
is
The batter took
NASCAR
it for a
racing.
ball.
Yes. I'm a recent
On the
convert.
ground.
Yes.
Down-to-earth people, it's what the average American working man wants to see. This is where he wants to spend his money and his time.
The game's
And when he
tied
leaves
at
here,
3.
he feels like he's got his money's worth. And I think it's one of the greatest sports. I'm a diehard race fan. I like old DW. He lives 186 miles from me in Louisville. He used to. I watched him race since he just started racing those cars. I'm going to stick with him through the bed and the finish. But I got my money on Ken Trader, but I've lost in the last 125 races. But I think the man's going to make one. But I love the sport. It just makes they start the engine down there, man. I'm almost 62 years old. I go back when I'm 16 years old. It does that to me. I love it. I just love it.
He's going back.
A lot of thanks to those of you who participated, and we wish it was possible to talk to each and every one of you because we know that you have a lot to say. Still to come, and this is we'll have the mailbox and also a story on Safety Team, which plays a very important role in NASCAR Winston Cup racing. The IWCR mailbox is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft. Our question is from Russell Scales from Captain, Pennsylvania. What is meant by the one tire per position rule in the Busch Series?
Hi, Russell. I'm Johnny Benson, driver of Lipton Team Monte Carlo. To answer the question, there's 4 positions on the race car.
purpose
The
of
right
this
front,
visit
the
is
right
to give
rear,
the bullpen
the
a
left
little
rear,
more
and the
time
left
to
front.
get ready.
When NASCAR tells us that we get 2 per
really needs
position,
to
it
slow
means that
down
during
and
a caution,
refocus.
we
Seems
come
like
in
that
and
trip to
change
the
tires
mountain
twice
just at
on
the right
each one of
time.
them positions.
Well,
And
this
that's
is a
all
good
the tires
move
that we
coming
get
against
for the
left-handed
caution.
hitters have
We can
some
still
trouble
change as many
with
tires as we
off-speed
want
pitches
under
from
green.
left-handed
Thanks for
pitchers.
right now.
If you have a question, write to us at Inside Winston Cup Racing, Box 240-417, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28224. If we use your question, you'll receive a Miller Genuine Draft Race Team jacket.
We look forward to the Brickyard 400 next week at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and look forward to seeing many of our fans in that area. Now remember, practice starts on Wednesday this year. It started on Thursday last year, but qualifying will still be on Thursday and Friday as it was last year. We need to take a short break, and as we leave you with this break, here's a look at what's coming up next week right here on IWCR.
The Winston Cup Series is ready to return to Indianapolis in the second running of the Brickyard 400.
Sometimes
we'll have Coach Rachel Ford and talk to the winner next Sunday morning. For Winston Cup teams, the race really begins at dawn on Sunday with the critical pre-race preparation. An up-close look at the delicate details that are rewarded with a win. After his season of success, it has been a somewhat disappointment for David Green. A chat with the reigning Busch Series champion next week.
Inside Winston Cup Racing, happy 10th anniversary. It takes a lot of people and a lot of companies and support to make NASCAR Winston Cup Racing work. And one of the latest companies that helps to make it work is the Safety Clean Corporation. They not only help the teams in recycling their oil and other liquids that they use in the sport, but also help the environment.
Safety Clean has been a familiar sight and service around the country since the company was founded in 1968. But in the last 3 years, the service and symbol have become synonymous with NASCAR's dedication to an environmentally rewarding role in racing. First in the shops and now at the track, Safety Clean handles the disposal and recycling of cleaning solvents, used oil, grease, and antifreeze. Safety Clean does the dirty work and is proud of it.
First of all, Safety Clean is the largest re-refiner of oil in the world. We're also the largest recycler of solvents in the U.S. The race teams involved in Winston Cup racing and throughout the U.S. are our customers back home in the race shops. To be able to provide the same services that they have at home at a racetrack was something that I envisioned years ago, approached NASCAR with in late '92, and we were able to kick off an official environmental program in 1993.
Now 2.5 years later, the world of Safety Clean whirls around the racetrack on more than 50 Winston Cup and Busch Series cars. But the work done by Safety Clean at the racetrack is really just the beginning.
Basically, we take
with 3 innings
oil
left
from
to
the
play,
race team.
the score is 7-3.
Goes from a racetrack to a Safety Clean facility, again with our own.
This guy's a pretty decent hitter.
Oil trucks, our own fleet of vehicles. From there, it's picked up and goes by rail to East Chicago, Indiana, our re-refinery. And from there, that oil is
is
fastball misses inside.
in essence made into
He's batting
a
.293 with 2 long balls and 17 RBIs.
A lot of it goes to industry.
The count's
bulk,
2-1.
Cutting oils or whatever, but we do package engine oil for Walmart,
Misses
Kmart,
outside.
Gateway.
Look like the pitcher and catcher have a
City of New
strategy
York,
in
City of
mind. So far,
Chicago.
the batters are taking these pitches.
All use this
He works
oil
the
that
walk.
was once in the
Like he
baseball.
really is making a
Well,
hard
you know,
on
not
himself by
only you
giving
dump
up
the
so
oil,
many
you dump
walks.
the oil separate, you dump the antifreeze separate, you dump your brake fluid separate, and then they also have products.
He delivers.
They furnish our shop
Mahomes
with products
takes,
to wipe
and it's
up
ball
the shop
one.
with.
Double
if you
play
spill some
situation.
oil, instead of
Pitcher's
using a
gotta
rag
try and keep
wipe
the
it
ball
up
down
with,
here to force the
they
hitter
have
to hit the ball on the
special
ground.
oil absorbent wipes to wipe the shop up with. And their service really does a lot for the shop
1-2
and for the
the count.
racetrack. You know, we come in here and years
The
ago people
delivery.
didn't think much about it, but now everybody thinks about it every day. And the service that they provide for us is really a super service.
Ooh, this
I
guy's
really
had a
don't know
rough
how
day,
we
man. That
got along
strikeout
without
just
them.
gave him the hat trick.
But the racetrack isn't the only place you'll find the familiar logo.
When you see that symbol at any business, from the dealership to a quick lube, dry cleaners, you know, those businesses are recycling. They're doing business with us, attempting to protect the environment, not the landfill, to make
The
a
count's
renewed,
0-2.
reclaimed product, reusable product.
Safety Clean is one of the newest members of the NASCAR
Jackson
team,
takes
helping
under
to
his
keep the
hands for a
environment
ball.
safe for everyone.
That was a purpose pitch.
They've carried it
Change
all
up
the way
off
through
the
so
plate,
that they
hoping
can
the batter would go
help
chasing.
educate the teams on how to handle
Hey,
all
hit
the
strike
liquids
one,
and
just keeps
everything.
plowing away for
So
the
even
strikeout.
it's a 7-day-a-week
Next at the plate,
effort on
Manny
their behalf
Ramirez.
to make it work on the at the shops, on the trucks, and or even at the different garage areas. We're thrilled to be here. It's been great
Up
for
steps
us.
the new
2.5
designated
seasons.
hitter.
We hope to be here for the long haul.
A great service for the sport. We hope you're around for a long time, too. And we hope that you fans are doing your part on recycling as well. We're off to Brickyard 400. You join us again here on TNN for more on the Inside
He
Winston
swung
Cup race.
through the pitch.
Today's show has been brought to you by Texaco Clean System 3 gasoline. Add more life to your
The
car.
pitch is hit up the middle.
Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool
Throw goes
place.
to the cutoff man.
And by Goodyear,
He's in there with a
number 1
two-out
in racing,
single.
number 1 in
These guys
tires.
are really running the bases well.
Team
That
Simpson is your
aggressiveness
ticket to
really
be
showed
part
as
of
the
all
runner
the
went from
exciting
first to
racing
third on the
action.
single.
Now's the time to order the 1995 catalog. Call 1-800-71-RACIN and join Team Simpson today.
Up next,
The
David
official
Ortiz.
conversion van of Inside Winston Cup Racing is Gladiator by Glavelle, America's #1 luxury van. Glavelle, the way we put it together, sets us apart. Communications for Inside Winston Cup Racing are provided by Racing Radios, Forest Park, Georgia. Racing Radios, the official communications of NASCAR and the Winston Cup Series.
In tight. Takes low. Two balls and 2 strikes. It's a pop-up foul. That's a Gold Glove play. All right, everybody, up on their feet. Time for the 7th inning stretch.
Yeah, I could use a bit of a break.
This left-handed hitter.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on Inside Winston Cup Racing. I'm at the Michigan International Speedway where preparations are underway for this afternoon's Miller Genuine Draft 400 NASCAR Winston Cup race. That race rolls off at 1 o'clock. Jeff Gordon will start from the pole. It's a pretty day here, but it is hot. Randy Pemberton is in our studios in Charlotte, North Carolina with a qualifying report as well as the other news. Good morning, Randy.
Good morning, Ned, and hello, everyone. Welcome to the morning edition of IWCR for Sunday, June 18th, 1995. Happy Father's Day. Today, the Winston Cup Tour takes to the newly paved Michigan International Speedway. The speeds are up, and Jeff Gordon is 7 for 14 in the pole category. Today, because it's Father's Day, we'll have a talk with Michael and Daryl's dad, Leroy Waltrip. We'll continue to look at the rookies. This week, we'll report on the new Skoal Bandit, Robert Presley. And we'll also have the inside scoop from the garage area in a moment. All that and more on this morning's edition of IWCR. Today's show is brought to you by Texaco Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool place. And by Goodyear, #1 in racing, #1 in tires. This segment of IWCR is brought to you by Texaco Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
And here comes
well, if you like speed, you won't want to miss today's Miller Genuine Draft 400 at Michigan. 31 drivers broke the track record in first-round qualifying, and we're sure to see speeds over 200 miles per hour on the straightaways today. Right now, we're going to check in with Bill Weber for a quick pre-race report. Bill?
He swiped 2 bases.
Thanks, Randy. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the third fastest facility on the Winston Cup circuit. This newly repaved 2-mile track was a launching pad for skyrocketing speeds in qualifying on Friday. The entire field broke the existing track record, and Jeff Gordon broke it by more than 5 miles an hour, soaring to his 7th pole of the season.
For once, it paid off to have an early invitation to qualify. Ricky Rudd, Sterling Marlin, Walt Martin, Ted Musgrave, and Dale Earnhardt, all through low numbers, had fast cars, a huge cloud, and grabbed a spot in the top 5. Then the sun came out, and the next 25 cars ran and could not beat the early times, until Jeff Gordon painted a perfect lap of 186.611 miles per hour. 0.3 of a second quicker than second-place Rudd. There was some concern in post-qualifying inspections that Gordon's DuPont Chevy was a quarter-inch too low. But following a second look, the car and the lap were allowed to stay, helping Gordon and company bounce back from their heartbreak at Pocono.
Well, you know, we like to bounce back. You know, that was a frustrating thing last weekend. And we're not going to let that get to us. That thing was pretty much put to bed the next day. I mean, I had to kind of, you know, take some deep swallows there and you know, swallow my pride. But you know, I knew right after that race was over, I said, you know, we're going to be in good shape. I've known for a couple of weeks we're going to be in good shape when we come here to Michigan, and I've looked forward to it, you know, for a while. And you know, so far it's proven me right, but we still got a long weekend left.
Sterling Marlin is second in points and will start the Kodak Chevrolet third after a qualifying run that has this team feeling pretty good.
Yeah, we do. You know, the Kodak team done a great job, and
he fouled it off to the right.
It was a little off, but they kept working, beating on the car, and got it right in there. So I think we'll be in good shape to race. Track's in excellent shape. Track's real smooth, and looking forward to it.
The Miller Genuine Draft crew is ready to defend their title here today. Rusty Wallace rolls off fifth. 7-time champ Dale Earnhardt starts 7th, leading by 77 points after failing to qualify in the top 10 in 7 of the last 9 races. Qualifying is something this team's been working on this year.
Well, this week, you know, we really wasn't that good in Dover and Pocono and really Charlotte for that matter. And this same car I had at Charlotte, and we've done some fine-tuning on it. We tested it in Indy and did some work on it and tried to help it and tried to help ourselves. And then after last week's run, we felt, you know, we done some more stuff and tried to just sort of get more focused on practice and qualifying runs, and that's what we did, and it paid off for us. Car would come right into us and work well.
New surface here at Michigan, how is it?
It's good. It's real smooth, and you know, it seems to be real forgiving. You know, we've got plenty of room to race on. I like to see the groove widen up a little bit, move up a little higher, and give a little more room to, you know, if you need to race side by side or whatever. It's a little tight right now, but I think after this ARCA race today and then into the race tomorrow, we'll be okay.
Jeremy Mayfield gives crew chief Tony Furr and the RCA team much of the credit for his best qualifying run of the year. We'll start 9th.
You know, every week it seems like we're a day behind, you know, as far as getting in the shop. We get everything kind of straightened out before race time, but not for qualifying. This week we seem to pull everything together for this RCA Thunderbird, and Tony Furr's really helped out a lot, bringing a lot of his knowledge over there, and really helped out a lot.
The manager's going
Bobby
to come out
Hillin is in the U.S. Air Ford again this week. Darrell Waltrip starts 16th and plans to go the distance. Greg Sachs failed to qualify for the 4th time this season. That team has missed 3 of the last 5 races, sparking speculation in the garage that a shakeup may be coming before Daytona.
Tankersley with the 1-0
And it appears Greg Sachs may be separating from that team. We'll be watching for official confirmation of that. We don't anticipate any trouble with the tires or the track here today, but it will be sunny and very warm, high in the low 90s. That's about it from here, except for one thing. Happy Father's Day, Dad. Cards in the mail. Honest. Randy, back to you.
Thanks, Bill. Hope the new pavement doesn't get too slick for the drivers today, but they're all running on the same track, even if Jeff Gordon did qualify in another time zone. Let's take a look at the top 10. 7 more poles will tie Gordon with Cale Yarborough's 14 set in 1980. He's looking for his 4th win of the season. Ricky Rudd goes off 2nd. He won this race in June of 93. Sterling Marlin starts 3rd. He continues to be a factor in his Kodak film Chevy. Mark Martin goes off 4th. He's trying to rebound from a disappointment last week at Pocono. Rusty Wallace is the defending champion. He's had only 1 top 10 since winning at Martinsville last month. He's quick, but they had to make an engine change this morning. Ted Musgrave continues to be the hottest driver on the circuit with an average finish of 6.5 in his last 6 starts. Dale Earnhardt will carry a roof cam today at Michigan. You don't get shots from the top of his car very often. Incidentally, that team made an engine change this morning as well. Dick Trickle with a good qualifying run. He flanks Earnhardt in row 4. And rounding out the top 10, Jeremy Mayfield and Lake Speed in row 5.
Fastball misses high.
The Unocal bonus today is over $91,000 if Gordon can pick up the win at Michigan, and they'll kick it off in just a couple of hours. We need to take a break. When we come back, Ned will join us from the shops of Darrell Waltrip. As we leave you, here's the rest of today's starting lineup. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
3-1 count. The count is full. The runner goes. He goes down looking.
We're at Darwall, headquarters for the Western Auto Chevrolets, which are driven by Darrell
Waltrip. Bottom of the
in
8th, the score is 7-4.
We're in the museum department, which houses a lot of the memorabilia and some of the cars
It's time for the 3, 4, and 5.
You know, dads play an important role in the sport of auto racing in various ways. Leroy Waltrip, who's the dad of Michael and Darrell, is not directly involved in the sport excepting to lend support to his sons. And believe you me, that is very important. We have a story on Leroy today, and that is our tribute to all you dads out there on Father's Day.
Bringing in a righty to face the right-handed hitter is a good move, partner, because it creates a mismatch in the pitcher's favor.
And had you problems with the teenagers as everybody else does, you know. But all those bad things turn you into a lot of good things. So we don't even like to talk about the bad things. We talk about the good ones.
Leroy Waltrip and his wife Margaret are the proud parents of 5 children. It's just that 2 of them are a little more famous than the others. But it didn't start out that way. It all started out in Owensboro, Kentucky, with Darrell driving go-karts and winning.
So then the whole Chevrolet come along, and we run a few races on dirt with it. And we did that in our own garage. A bunch of us guys got together, and we, including Darrell, and put that old 36 Chevrolet together and started winning races with that series.
Today, Leroy is a familiar figure at the track. A youthful and energetic 72 years young, he is the voice of wisdom and the model of maturity. He worked until he was 65 and through the years watched and rooted as 2 of his sons made the steep climb to racing's highest peak.
Hey, the pitcher wins the battle.
Oh,
Sweet pitch to get the K.
Great. Nobody, including us, would have ever dreamed Darrell doing what he has done. That guy, he had nobody to do it. And to get started and do what he's done, it's
hit to the right side.
He did kick down a few doors.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he run his mouth a lot, too.
He's on with a single.
But one thing, run his mouth, he always did exactly what he's telling me. Told him he was going to do. And so finally he made a blue ride.
This guy isn't great against right-handed pitching, but he does all right.
Like any father, Leroy is anxious to proudly celebrate the good times that lie ahead. A partial reward for the sometimes frightening moments of the past.
At Daytona for Darrell and at Bristol for Michael. Miracle Michael got out there. I remember Darrell called. We weren't there.
Great pitch in the black. Would have been a call
And
strike.
D.W. called and he said, you know, he's okay.
McDonald goes down on strike.
He made me so mad I could feel it myself. He said, I'm having a big pitch, you know about him. I
With
just
one
know
inning
he's
remaining,
not
the
gonna come out.
score is 7-4.
And I run over there and look down in there.
This is a
and he
good
looked
move,
up at
Kai,
me.
because right-handed hitters have some
Sitting
trouble
there
picking
flat
up
on that
off-speed
blacktop
pitches from
with
right-handed
that
pitchers.
funny, with that junk all around him.
Darrell and Michael don't need a special day to remind them they have a special dad. For them, every day.
This batter isn't going to turn any heads with his
Worked
swing.
so hard all his life, and he's been retired for 7 or 8 years, and he's taken up golf, and he really enjoys that.
A little strategy here.
Come
The
to the
left-handed
races
hitter
and
against the
relax
righty.
and just have
Here's
fun.
the new designated
And I'm so
hitter,
proud
Trot
for him and happy
Nixon.
that he's able to do that.
My dad is a typical middle America hero as far as I'm concerned. He started with absolutely nothing.
Outside.
And
1 ball and 1
provided
strike.
for 5 kids. And we never wanted for anything. I mean, we never wanted for anything that we needed. There was a lot of things that we didn't need that we would like to have had. But when it came time to help me get into racing, we didn't have the money. There were 5 little mouths to feed. But somehow, some way, we raced straight. Everybody sacrificed, and we bought go-karts.
Makes the catch to record
we
the
raced.
out. The next batter is David Ortiz.
I did that just for the camera.
Didn't like that one. and
Another
it's a
thing
ball.
Leroy Welkup instilled in his sons is his sharp, cutting sense of humor that the boys picked up at an early age.
Yeah, I guess they did. I like to kid a lot, as you very well know. If I can't drag you and have fun, I don't know what to do.
Blooped one into shallow left
Did you
field.
try and spill that in the board?
Curves foul.
Yeah, and they pretty well picked it up.
Yes, I think so.
Michael's a heck of a comedian.
Here's the pitch.
And so's his dad. So the next time you're at a race, watch for Leroy. And be sure and say hello and make him feel at home. Because this ball
Now he
trip
goes
is a
on
long
strike.
way from home.
Hey, sometimes you make a good pitch, and that was one of them. Big strike out there.
Those boys are a long way from this stuff here. Yes.
Damon lays off the pitch
To
high.
look at this motor.
Looked like the pitcher and catcher have a strategy in mind. So far, the batters are taking these
How
pitches.
did this ever happen? But it has, and they're both in there. I know one
Pitch
thing
misses
for
for a
sure. They
ball.
both
Looked
get
like
into
the
the
pitcher and catcher have a
110%.
strategy in mind.
If
So
they're
far,
in
the
victory
batters
lane,
are
that
taking
just
these
adds a
pitches.
little bit to it. If not, you're just as bad.
He's a
He
fine
turns on
individual.
it, and it's a
Leroy
fly
and his
ball
wife
to
Margaret
right.
have a total of 5 children.
The
3
ball
boys and
game
2
is
girls.
over.
Of course, we know Darrell and Michael. Bobby, their other son, works here at Darwall. Carolyn, one of their daughters, works for Darrell in the business office in Franklin, Tennessee. Their other daughter,
The final
Connie, lives
score,
near
the
them
Kansas
in
City
Northwest
Royals,
Texas.
7,
We'll be back
Boston,
with
4.
the mailbox and a story on Robert Presley right after this. The IWCR mailbox is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft. Our question is from Ron Hobus from Hagerstown, Maryland. What qualifications must a driver have to drive in Winston Cup as a rookie? And when and how does a rookie graduate to the fully qualified driver status and shed the rookie classification?
Hi, I'm Jeff Burton. I drive the Ray Bestis Ford Thunderbird. That's a good question about the rookie status. To be a rookie, basically, you just can't have any run in Winston Cup races. To be for Rookie of the Year, you can't have run more than 5 races in any one season. But to actually come and race here, there's no qualifications other than just having some experience in some other form of racing. But the key is to compete for Rookie of the Year, to keep your limit to 5 races a year.
If you have a question, write to us at Inside Winston Cup Racing, Box 240-417, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28224. If we use your question, you'll receive a Miller Genuine Draft Race Team Jacket and a copy of Speed Weeks 95, the official Daytona Speed Weeks commemorative book, signed by back-to-back Daytona 500 champion Sterling Marlin.
Robert Presley is one of the top rookies this year in NASCAR Winston Cup Racing, and coming up, we have a story on him. Now let's take a look at what's coming up next week right here on IWCR.
The Winston Cup Series takes a break next week, but the Busch Series returns to action on the road course at Watkins Glen. Terry Labonte is the defending champ, and we'll have the pre-race report from upstate New York next Sunday morning.
What if you could put together your own all-star team of Winston Cup drivers? Well, now you can. And each week you can race against the other teams on the circuit. It's a Winston Cup Fantasy League, and you can play along. We'll tell you how next week.
On behalf of the NASCAR family and all of the Winston Cup officials, we want to wish everybody a Happy Father's Day!
We now have moved into the machine room, part of the engine department here at Darwall. As we continue to look at the rookies in NASCAR Winston Cup racing this year, we focus this week on Robert Presley, who drives the Leo Jackson Skoal Bandit Chevrolets. Those are the cars that Harry Gant had driven in the past until he retired last year. Randy Pemberton has the story on Robert Presley.
Robert Presley's roots in racing are deep-seated. The son of a Southern short-track superstar, Robert's racing prowess was realized by a big racing fan by the name of Brad Daugherty back in 1988. That's right, NBA great Brad Daugherty. Brad took a shot as a Busch Series car owner in 1989 and assisted Robert in scoring his first big-time ride and first big-time win in Rougemont, North Carolina that year. In 1991, Presley's potential for putting a car up front began to shine through continuously. He recorded 15 top 10 finishes and another victory that season. Robert won more races than anyone on the circuit in 1992, including his first super speedway victory, holding off the man that he would eventually replace in Winston Cup competition, Harry Gant. But things started to unravel for Robert in 1993. After being touted to replace the retiring Gant in 95, Presley's relationship with his team began to splinter, and he eventually split from the Daniel Welsh team despite a couple of wins. And in 1994, that was a season Robert would just as soon forget.
No, last year was a disaster year for us.